everybody, this is Brian Hogue. Welcome to another week of Chiller Night Live. Yes, we are here if you're watching this on Stream TV, it's every Saturday night. This is the pre-show, but if you want to see it live and interact with myself and other viewers, you can do that by checking us out in fact, I'm going to write the first chat of the night. All right, we stream on YouTube and on Facebook. On YouTube, it's the ChillerNight YouTube channel, and on Facebook, it's one of these channels here: ChillerNight Theater, ChillerNight Escape Experience, or Jack Shadow's House of Terror, and also on mine personal Facebook page for Brian Hogue. Lasercorn, he's the first this week. Yes, first comment. Welcome, Laser. Tom says middle. All right, well, who's the end? We won't know that until about 9 o'clock. All right, well, thank you for joining us there, fellas. Renee says, Brian Hogue, that's me. Hey, all right. Thanks for joining us, Renee, for another week of Chiller Night Live. Like I was saying, if you want to check this out and actually join us, we do this live every Tuesday night. We used to do it on Saturdays. We'll probably eventually get back to Saturday nights, but for right now, it's Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, all the way up to 9 o'clock. So SBC says, hello, everyone. Hey, SBC, thanks for joining us. Whoa. Hazardous out here in the dark realm, the dark domain of Jack Shadow. So you can see Castle Shadow, the dwelling place of Jack Shadow and all his ghosts and ghouls, Aura the Witch and El Von Nock and all the others, Walter the Zombie, and all of them are back there just behind me. Crazy. The stuff I do for you folks, the danger I put myself in every week. Bonehead says, I'm last as usual. Wow, that's, I don't know, the night is young, the show is young. Daniel says, what's up, Brian? Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining us. Stephanie says, hi, y'all. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for joining us. Victor says, how's it going, Brian? It's going really well. I can't complain. No complaints here. Everything is peachy keen. Laser says, what's up, peeps? Tom says, boom, SB Laser. Amanda says, good evening. Hey, Amanda, thanks for joining us. Amanda and Daniel, I see you're on Facebook, and all the other, quite a bit of the other viewers are on YouTube. So that's kind of cool. Like I'm telling you, viewers, if you're here first time, you can check us out and watch us live and interact with us via chat. So what we're going to do right now is put up the schedule for this Saturday night. So are you ready? Here we go. All right, this Saturday, June 24th on Stream TV. You can go there by typing in streammedia.tv, streammedia.tv. And this Saturday night, you can click on Watch Live at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and you can watch the Chiller Night pre-show, which is this very episode right here. 9 o'clock, the fun begins. Our feature movie of the week is The Giant Claw. Oh. Okay, there we go, The Giant Claw. 10:30, the movie is The Last Man on Earth. Vincent Price, you gotta see this if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, you want to check it out, I'm sure. 12:10 in the morning, The Ghoul with Boris Karloff. And at 1:45 in the morning, another Vincent Price movie, House on Haunted Hill. So look at that. That's quite a lineup, folks. That's quite a lineup. So if you want to watch that, June 24th, Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, The Frightening Fun begins on Stream TV. Check it out, streammedia.tv. Let's see. Bonehead says, hey, hello to Brian of the Chiller Night crew. Hey, Bonehead, thanks for joining us. Let's see. And I see some salutations going back and forth there. So remember, if you're new here, Tuesday nights is when we do this live. And then you can check it out on Saturdays. We used to do this show for years on Saturday nights. And then because of the ChillerNight Escape Experience, my escape room store, opening at the Cranberry Mall in Venango County, Pennsylvania. Uh, because I'm mostly there at the store on Saturday nights, so that changed things for a while. Now, maybe eventually we'll get back to doing this on Saturday nights. That will be a while. Probably not until maybe sometime next year, possibly in 2024. That's a possibility. Um, so we'll see how that goes. PBR Street Gang is giving me a wave, giving me 3 waves actually. So, all right, thanks for joining us, PBR Street Gang. Roger says, good evening, Brian. Good evening, Roger. Thanks for joining us. I like the little bat and skull with the crossbones there. All right, so there we go. ChillerNight. ChillerNight, where are we at? ChillerNight Live. So, what the heck is ChillerNight? We have ChillerNight Theater. ChillerNight Escape Experience, horror-themed escape rooms. And the one that's upcoming that I'm working on every day. In fact, I just got back. Minutes before doing this show here. Working on Jack Shadow's House of Terror. Let me pull this stuff up here. I gotta show you this. The store I have is the ChillerNight Escape Experience, horror-themed escape rooms. You want to check any of this stuff out, by the way, go to ChillerNight.com. ChillerNight.com. Zombie Outbreak, that's the escape room that's open right now that you can book online or calling that number there, 814-209-8214. And at the risk of this sounding like an infomercial, I'm going to throw up another one here, Witching Hour. It says book now. You can't. Haha. No, it's not ready yet, but it will be reasonably soon. I'm actually putting that one on the back burner right now because rather than opening it right now, because I'll be inundated with bookings, I'm going to hold off a little bit longer until I get Jack Shadow's House of Terror done. So that might actually open up in the fall with the Witching Hour. So I might do it that way there. But got a lot of projects going on here, as you can see. So a lot of things going on here on this ChillerNight webpage. And in the store, Stephanie says, I wish I lived there to go to the escape room. That would be pretty cool. I wish you did too, Stephanie. Let's see. I know where some of you guys are at, state-wise. Where are you from, Stephanie? We're in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is where we're at. About a little north of Pittsburgh. Barry the Tick says, hello, Brian and Bonehead. Hey, Barry the Tick, thanks for joining us again. Glad to see you again here. PBR Street Gang says, Jack Shadow for president. All right. All right, let's get that started. I mean, really, how hard could it be? Sure, I'll put the first vote. All right, Jack Shadow for president. Interesting. Stephanie says Ohio. Oh, that's right. I do recall you saying that before because I was thinking, oh, I'm not that. We're neighbors. We're stately neighbors. All right. Renee says Ultraman. Aha! Ultraman Festival, July 21st through the 23rd. 4-star theater. Ultraman Festival. Where the heck? Now you're in Fresno, right? California. Is that? I think I'm remembering that right, Renee. I know you're in California, but is that they have these often? It seems like they're always having Ultraman or some other really cool festivals over there. That would be really neat. They should actually do that around here. I don't know that they do, but that's a neat idea. Barry the Tick says Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Ah, cool. Well, very cool. Thanks for joining us from way up north. Yeah, that would be kind of neat. You know, we had our theater go out at the mall. It would be kind of cool if somebody bought the theater and held these really cool festivals like that. Yeah, that would be neat. have sci-fi festivals, Ultraman festival, Godzilla festivals. That would be really cool. Chiller Night festivals. Renee says, I heard so many new Flash with Batman spoilers movie already. I haven't heard. I've been kind of avoiding that. I'm not. I won't be going to the theater. I can say that I won't be going to the theater to see it just because I don't find the Flash as interesting. Or maybe it's the actor. I don't know. Maybe he just has a bad rap. I don't know. There's nothing really about it other than Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton as Batman is the only thing that would compel me to go see that right now. I don't know if it's a good movie. It might be. I haven't heard a lot of good things about it, but I mean, it might be. Um, I just not much on going to the theater anymore, and that's kind of a shame. I used to love to go to the theater. So, um, let's see, San Francisco. Oh, Renee's from San Francisco. Okay, I don't know where I get. All right, awesome, awesome. That just sounds cool. You seem like you got film festivals going on all the time there at your theaters. So that's really pretty awesome. SBC says Jack Shadow looks younger and fitter than your current president. you know. All right. Yeah, yeah. I'm very careful to keep my politics, my political viewpoints separate, but you're baiting me in. Okay, SBC. Stephanie says Monster Universal Festivals. That would be the Universal Monsters. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'd definitely go to those. Tom says movie theaters seem to be on the way out like malls. Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. But escape rooms are on the way in. So at least I'll give you something to do at the Cranberry Mall. Now there's still some other stores here, but yeah, it is. It's just I don't. I almost said it's inevitable. I don't think that that's true though. I don't think that that's true. Maybe for the theaters, in a way, because of the. But I like the festival idea though. Maybe something like that would be what it takes to get people out. That's actually a neat idea. It just seems like it's too convenient. Now they've made it too convenient, yeah, to just stay home and watch them. Although you don't get the same experience. Like I've never seen. We were talking about this. This was brought up a couple weeks ago. Like, seeing the old classics on the big screen, like Gone with the Wind or Casablanca, El Dorado or something. You just give me something. I would love to see that on the big screen. I think that would be a neat experience. Probably so at a lot of these film festivals. That would be neat to see Ultraman on the big screen. PBR says, what's your favorite Ultraman? Mine is Ultraman Leo. Lived in Japan for 17 years. Love me some Ultraman. Mine is the one that I know, the one that I grew up with, which was the original one with from back, what was it, 1966, I think, with Hayata. And he holds up the beta capsule and turns into Ultraman. That was the original series. That's the one that I know. I mean, I know there's been because my brother lived in Japan for quite a while. Did quite a bit of his time over there in the Air Force, and so I know he was he loved Ultraman. But that's the only Ultraman I really got into was the original one. Lasercorn says, Toronto, I gotta say, I stopped by Henderson Brewing last year to get some Rush Golden Ale. Too bad I didn't get the moving pictures, though. Moving pictures? Pictures. Oh, I see now. I'm not familiar with those brands. I can't say that I am. Let's see. Jason said, it's a bad sign when the Flash movie is being promoted as a Batman movie and Michael Keaton is being pushed. Yeah, but you know what? You know what I would have loved to see, and maybe they'll do this. Maybe this is the segue into this, bringing the Michael Keaton. Making it like, why are we watching Michael Keaton again? But that would be a neat thing to do if they decided to make a continuation of those Batman movies with Michael Keaton, I would go. Now that would be something I would go to the theater to watch a Batman movie, not The Flash necessarily, because it's just not as interesting to me. But the Batman with Michael Keaton, yeah, I think I would go to the theater to see that. Depending on how the writing is. Like I say, I think I brought this up too. I have brought it up about I'm not as enthused to see movies anymore because of the writers, because of the writing, and not the same storytelling that it was when I was a kid, or most of you when you were kids, I'm sure. It's not the same caliber of people. It seems they get your heroes, and they just they're not very respectful to a lot of them, and it's just horrendous writing goes into them anymore. Now, one coming up is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I have no idea how that's going to be. I gotta say, for the first time, I'm not enthused about seeing this. It doesn't really have much to do with his age, because I think that they'll probably incorporate that into the storyline, and the age. I can't even say aging, really. I mean, he's up there. He's like 80 years old. So I'm sure that will be well addressed in the movie, and see how he's coping with being this one-time active adventurer. And now what's he like adapting as an older Indiana Jones. So it's just that I'm afraid of the writing. I'm just afraid of these writers anymore. So Richard says, I used to go to the local theater and they would have 3 to 4 Godzilla movies. Really? That's, man, since I've read this on here, I'm starting, and it just sparked it. I know Renee is normally mentioning these festivals, but starting to think, like, that's not a bad idea at all. I think that would actually draw people out. Barry the Tick says, I'm not sure if I heard of Henderson Brewing. I have to check that out. Barry says, there's so many microbrewed companies. Richard says, hang 'em high. Hang 'em high. With Clint Eastwood. Jason Bates said, and, I'll connect Batman with Hang 'em High. I believe, if I'm thinking right, was it the sheriff, marshal, or the sheriff in the or some high roller guy in the town? Wasn't that played by the guy who played Commissioner Gordon in the 1989 Batman movie? Not sure if I'm remembering that, or even why I remember that, but that may or may not be accurate. I don't know. A lot of these facts, or memories, I'm shooting from the hip, so I may hit the target, I might not. So, Jason says, I love the original Ultraman. Every episode he was trapped, and the beta capsule was always out of reach. Yeah. And then just that, when his chest would blink, the light would blink, you knew, like, hurry up, Ultraman! And he would just always turn into Ultraman at the last minute, save the day, save the world, and then fly away. SBC says, I love cinemas. Unfortunately, COVID has bankrupted so many of them. Yeah. Might be interesting to turn a cinema into an escape room. The theater is right beside my store. So, of all times for that to go out, because when I first opened the store, I was getting a lot of people looking in, like, what's that? Let's try that. And so that was pretty cool. But yeah. Well, maybe if I do well enough, maybe I'll consider expanding into the theater business. Lasercorn says, are you thinking of Ultra Q, Brian? I don't know if it was called Ultra Q or what that was. I just knew it as Ultraman. That's all I knew it as, but it might, if it's called Ultra Q. Could be. Renee says, the VR virtual reality arcade in Westfield Mall and Food Emporium food court. Now that was an extraterrestrial alien video gaming technology. Now that was extra. It wasn't. I don't know anything about it. I mean, I don't know if you're joking, but or if you are implying or coming right out and saying that was extraterrestrial alien video gaming technology. I gotta hear more, um, because I don't know anything about this. I've heard of virtual reality, like escape games and stuff like that, but or adventures and games or something like that. But I don't know if they're extraterrestrial in origin. Richard says Styx had a beer called Renegade. Had a beer called Renegade. Ah, all right. Didn't know that. I like the song. Daniel says, uh, or Renegade, you had it made. Daniel says they should do film festivals at the Cranberry Mall. That would help bring more people out. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think that'd be a neat idea. I don't know what needs to be. You probably have to purchase. You probably have to lease out. I mean, be a regular leaseor of the or leasee of the actual theater. I don't know. That'd be neat. I don't know if you could just, I don't know what's all involved in that. If you could rent it out for an event, I don't know. Guess I could find out. But I'm so immersed in doing the haunted house or getting that ready, and the escape rooms and stuff like that. I just it's hard for me to kind of stray off and think of other things right now. But that would be neat. Maybe if it's still empty, down the road. You never know. Renee says, AKA downtown San Francisco Mall. The Westfield Mall. Westfield Mall. Barry the Tick says, I miss the old days before stadium seating theaters took over in the late 1990s. I used to go to the movies 1 to 2 times a week. Wow, that's pretty avid. I can't take the talking and cell phone use nowadays. That right there, I will say, that was one of my biggest pet peeves at the theater lately. Before I started to not go anymore. But that was one of my biggest pet peeves, is the talking during the movie, and the phones, So and I know that they put the announcement on there at first, be courteous, but rarely are people in the general public courteous anymore. You're spending a lot of money to go and watch these things, and you have a lot of discourteous people around. You're surrounded by, so that's why. I mean, they did kind of ruin it. If they had an attendant in there, didn't they used to? Was that just like so long ago that nobody even thinks about doing that anymore? To actually have an attendant stationed in the theater to kind of put a stop to that type of thing, because that probably did drive a lot of people away. You're spending tons of money to get in there, especially if you're going in with a family. By the time you get your tickets and your concessions, to have some idiot sit there and talk during the movie, or I've yelled at people before for doing that. I've spent a lot of money to watch this movie. Lasercorn. By the way, I just saw the trailer for Craven the Hunter today. So it is real. I saw that there was it says official trailer, but I've clicked on those before and they were fan made. All right, I got to check this out. Craven the Hunter. I don't have high hopes for this one. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. That's too bad. I just love to see them get back to doing good movies. Instead of, boy, we got to push a narrative. We got to push a message, a narrative, a political agenda. Just something stupid. That's why that might have killed the industry too. I don't know. I mean, COVID certainly had its, but I just, these writers, they were losing me. They were already starting to lose me. Richard says, Batman is a franchise that could go on and on if they based it on the originals. Yeah. Yeah, even an older Batman with Michael Keaton. I would be interested to see that. Because then, if that could eventually go into like well, I guess they already did a version of the Dark Knight, but the Dark Knight with Frank Miller's story was an aged Bruce Wayne, so and they did a version of that with a younger Batman, Ben Affleck. I don't know why I couldn't think of that name. Um, let's see. Tom says, "Where's your crib laser?" Daniel says, "You should start writing for films." Ah, if I just had the time. I don't think they'd accept my writing. I would make the men heroes that we grew up with heroic. I would make them heroic and have standards and unmoving principles, and you can't do that these days. Daniel says, "Men or women, I'd like to." Well, I didn't say. I gotta say, like that first Wonder Woman movie, I thought that was pretty good. Um, Daniel said, "You." Oh, I read that. Richard says, "Indiana Jones has run its course in my thoughts." Yeah, now I wouldn't mind seeing it again if I wasn't so afraid that they were going to ruin it or drag the character through the mud. Just belittle the character. He's got the younger female sidekick who, you know, I don't know. Is it going to be disrespectful like we saw happen to Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi? I don't know. I just don't know. Um, but I guess time will tell. Laser says, State Colleges, Pennsylvania, Tom, about 2.5 hours east of Bryan. Yes! State College, PA, rather. That's right, you added an S. Throwing us off. Victor says, I so miss the drive-in theaters. Great memories there. Yeah! Oh, yeah. Boy, that does bring back memories. They have one. That's not that far from here either. As you're heading down south of here toward Butler, they have one. I've never been to it. But yeah. You know what's neat? And I've mentioned this in here before, and I'm getting far behind in my comments, and I know that, and I'll try to catch up. But I saw this, and we talked about this before, so I know that if I've mentioned this on the shows, but do you ever see those where they have the big screen and it's like by a lake and everyone's in their inner tubes and stuff and they're watching Jaws? I know it's a lake. But still you're floating in the water at night, watching Jaws. To me, that would just be, talk about what a neat idea. What a neat idea. That's one of those William Castle ideas, it seems. Richard says the town of Cincinnati during one time had a lot of breweries, and the buildings are still standing along I-75 South. Ah, interesting. Are you from Cincinnati, or are you just referencing it here? Curious where peoples are from. Renee says, we have a ginormous game place called Arcade Emporium Diversadero. I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering that last word. Diversadero Street. They just about have every video game and pinball game ever made. Serve food and alcohol. Packed weekends, lots of cute chicks. Okay. That would be, I would love to have an arcade. I would love, because I love this old stuff anyway. So I want to play Space Invaders at a stand-up 70s and 80s arcade game. I would love that. That's neat that they have places like that. Geez, maybe I'd open one of them next. That would be neat. I wonder if that would go over well around here. But I love that the old days, late 70s into the mid 80s with the arcades. We had a really cool one. In fact, I will tell you this. I'm going to tell you. No, right here. Let me see. Do I have a picture of my store? Okay, right there on the other side of my escape room where it says the dead walk. That's if you go through that door. That's the first room to zombie outbreak. Then you see I have the beginning of the witching hour is being built up alongside that. And that goes into another section of the store. However, I'm saying all this to say behind that was actually in the old arcade from the original mall layout. It was called Aladdin's Castle, and part of my store was part of the arcade. And I used to love to go to that when I was a kid. I just really enjoyed that. So that stuff to me brings back a ton of memories. I had such a, and the arcade was right beside the theater. So it's kind of cool. I like being up where I'm at. I like my store location. So because I just have so many fond memories of that area of the mall. Tom says we still have a drive-in or two here. Thank goodness. I should go, but remember the old speakers that you'd hang on your door. You know, I understand that there's long ago they did away with those, but I wonder if any though. I wonder if any of the drive-ins do still have something like that. I suppose probably not because of the maintaining them from like the 50s or so. It's probably not very practical to keep those old clunkers around. Renee says, "Awesome escape zombie room in the mall. Cool. Thank you." Al, hey Al. Al says, "Hi everyone." Al, thanks for joining us. Richard says, "Our local theater now serves beer and some kind of liquor, but they limit what you can have." Well, that's good. That's good because boy, you get that too much in there. I mean, people are already rude enough as it is. Put some drinks in them and. Stephanie says, "What was that high noise?" Here on my end? I don't know. I mean, there is activity going on around me. Things being built. Maybe it was some power tools. I see the zombies over here are building a little fort. I don't know what that's all about, but that's what they're doing. And then we have the witches flying the brooms. I can see, and it sounds an awful lot like car traffic. So all kinds of activity. Renee says, "Unfortunately, the VR arcade shut down. The virtual reality arcade shut down at the San Fran Mall." Ah, so it didn't do too good there. You would think that that would do good at a large, well-trafficked area, venue like that. Victor says, "We have a great drive-in theater here in town. Unfortunately, it only runs triple X-rated films. Bummer." At the drive-in theater. Wow. Jason says, "Brian, did you see Flashpoint? The DC animated movie is very good." I have not seen that. I know my brother Troy, though, my older brother, he gets so into these the animated movies, especially the DC ones. I'll have to ask him if he saw that. Probably did. He keeps up on that stuff pretty well. Richard says, "How about a Planet of the Apes in a big theater?" Oh, yes! I do believe TBS or AMC ran the movies one weekend recently. Now, that would be a neat idea. I have all of those, of course, but yeah, to actually see those on the big theater, that'd be kind of cool. Tom says, "You talking about Flashpoint Paradox, Jason, from 2013?" Renee says, "Brian, farmers put VR goggles on cows, thinking they are grazing in plush green grass pastures, but in reality, They're at a slaughterhouse. We are in an extraterrestrial alien slaughterhouse simulation. What? What the heck are you? Let me get this right. What farmers are doing this? They're putting virtual reality goggles on the cows, thinking they are grazing in plush green grass pastures. But in reality, they're at a slaughterhouse. Well, yeah, I can see how that would deceive a cow. Ah, shame on them. Shame on them. We are in an extraterrestrial alien slaughterhouse simulation. What do you think the outcome of that is? Do you think, I mean, I've heard this brought up by people who really do believe it, or at least open-minded to the consideration that we are in a simulation like somewhat like the movie The Matrix, you know, that we're not really here, but we are programmed to believe. We wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Even it might not even look all that detailed, but we're programmed to see detailed uh, hands and matter, all around us. So we can't see the programming. So I don't know. What do you think? Stephanie says, I turn my phone off 5 minutes before the movie starts. Very considerate. I wish more people would do that, Stephanie. I really do. Maybe I'd go back. I don't know. I just can't stand that. Like I said, they feel so entitled anymore to do anything, to just sit there and have a conversation. Or I can see every once in a while someone explaining, what did he say? Something like that. Okay, I get that. But to have a conversation or to be on your phone when you know that's lighting up the entire theater, that's just not good. Richard says, Joe Rogan has a podcast about this movie, Thoughts we're talking about, and it's really good. Oh, yeah? He has some interesting podcasts. I don't get a chance to see many of them, but I check them out every once in a while. Jason says, Brian, we're on the same page with lack of courtesy in the theaters and poor writing. Yeah. Yep. I think a lot of people are on the same page as us, Jason, because, the industry is on the way out. And I know that COVID certainly had a lot to do with the, it was brought up earlier about a lot of the theaters going bankrupt. But I think it kind of got into more and more people are going there and being inconsiderate to those around them. And like I said, you can't have one with the other. As far as the facts go, when you're going there, you're spending a lot of money. You're spending over, like we've spent easily over $100, by the time we take everybody. And to have somebody sit there and have no consideration for other viewers is inexcusable. It is 8:38. I'm actually falling behind on promoting the show for this Saturday. Let me put up the schedule and then we'll get back to this. This Saturday, June 24th, we're doing all this talk about movies and film fest. Let's have our own little film fest, Chiller Night Fest, this Saturday, June 24th on Stream TV, beginning with this show right here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the ChillerNight Live pre-show, which is what this is going to graduate into by the time we get done here tonight. So we'll start off with this show, and then at 9 p.m. the movie is The Giant Claw. Interesting movie. I hope you get a chance to check that one out. Yes, I do. Then at 10:30 the movie is The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. Excellent movie. You can see why this one inspired a young George Romero to come up with Night of the Living Dead. It was partially responsible for that. 12:10 in the morning, the movie is The Ghoul with Boris Karloff. And then at 1:45, the movie is House on Haunted Hill. Another excellent Vincent Price movie. So I hope you get a chance to check that out on Stream TV this Saturday night, June 24th, beginning at 8 p.m. And go to streammedia.tv, streammedia.tv, go to the top and click on Watch Live. And you'll get to. So, let's see. Brian Weir. Oh, Renee says Matrix, Grid, and Mandela effects are the glitches. They very well could be. I've heard a lot about that stuff. It is pretty fascinating. You can really go down some seriously deep rabbit holes with that stuff. Stephanie says, I've seen Craven the Hunter trailer too. What did you think of it, Stephanie? Isn't the guy who played on Kick-Ass, played the main character on that, isn't he Craven? I thought I read that somewhere. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Shooting from the hip again with my information. Marianne Hughes, all right. It says, hey there. Hey, neighbor, how you doing tonight? Thanks for joining us. Renee says, Lasercorn, Tom, Stephanie, and all chat. All right. Marianne says, replying to Jack Shadow's House of Terror. Jack Shadow's House of Terror, good evening to you too. All right, thank you. Yeah, that's right. We have this streaming on the ChillerNight Theater Facebook page. We have it on the ChillerNight Escape Experience Facebook page and Jack Shadow's House of Terror Facebook page. So, there's no excuse for you not to watch this. SBC says, the new one can hardly be worse than the last Indiana Jones movie. Yeah. You know, there were parts of that movie that I enjoyed just because I wanted so bad to enjoy it. But then there were parts about like, oh my gosh, you know, getting in the refrigerator to avoid being blown up in a nuclear blast. And then the part where his son's swinging on the vines and sword fighting, and that part right there was like a comedy skit. And it's like, oh, that could have been so, you know, just a few little things out of there would have really improved that movie. Renee says, Brian, our brains cannot differentiate the difference between virtual reality and realism. Like, well, and I would think because of, if you were really in a simulation, you would be programmed to not be able to tell the difference. On a roller coaster ride with the VR goggles and going downwards in light speed, you're still going to hurl and throw up your corn dog or turkey leg you just pigged out at the amusement park. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, fortunately, we don't have those issues when you're watching ChillerNight Theater, so do so every Saturday night. Unless you just gorge yourself to that point, and hopefully that doesn't happen. In the comfort of your own home, I don't care. Do what you want. Terry says, hi, Brian. Hey, Terry, thanks for joining us. I waved because I saw a little wave icon, so instinctively I waved back. Richard says, I'm from Indiana. Ah, okay. Indiana. Brian says, hello all. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. Tom says, put an arcade in the mall store, Brian. Shouldn't be too hard. Doubt you'd get rich from it, but would add some fun. You know, I've actually been thinking about that because you know, even at the Hogue residence, we have like an 80s like stand-up arcade game, and it's got like a bunch of games on it. It's not just one. But the one game it doesn't have that I really wanted it, I thought I could download it into it. And maybe I can, I just don't know how. I haven't had time to really delve into this. But I wanted Space Invaders. You know, it was one of the reasons I actually bought the thing, with the idea that later on I'll have Space Invaders added to it. But I was thinking about getting a few of those and actually having those in the storefront. You know, as you're waiting or something. I thought that would be kind of cool. But yeah, don't know if I'd get rich from it, but it'd probably add some fun to the atmosphere of it. Terry says, Google Replay in Tarpon Springs. They have all those old arcade games. I'm writing that down. Google Replay. Okay, and Tarpon Springs. All right, I have to do some follow-up on that. Awesome. Heart Arcade, Renee says. Richard says, what's everyone's thoughts on The Walking Dead, Dead City's first episode? That was last night, or Sunday night, huh? Oh, I didn't see it yet. I didn't see it yet. I want so bad to watch it. I'm actually excited for that series. I totally forgot about that. That was this on the 18th, right? See, I don't have it written down here. Why don't I have it written? I got everything in here, but I didn't have that written down. That's why I missed it, because I didn't write it down. All right, well, all right, no spoilers, but yeah, if you liked it, share it with Richard and everybody here. Brad says it's a Chiller Night pre-show with Brian Hogue, starring Brian Hogue, and now here's Brian. What's on tonight, Brian? I don't know if that was before or after. I know there's a big delay, and I'm really far behind in in my. I'll put that up there as I'm trying to get this out correctly. I keep tripping over my tongue. Uh, 8 o'clock well, 8 o'clock the Chiller Night Live pre-show. At 9 o'clock this Saturday, the Giant Claw. 10:30, the Last Man on Earth, and at 12:10, the Ghoul. And at 1:45, House on Haunted Hill. That's the lineup for this Saturday night. I'll put that up again before we finish up the episode. But notice those times. They're not every hour or on the half hour. These movies are back to back. I put these episodes back to back, and I've only heard compliments. I've not heard any complaints. It seems like who's ever watching that bracket of TV on Saturday night or internet, it seems to enjoy it. So Jason says, "Did you keep any Aladdin's Castles togas?" No, that would be kind of neat to have some of those. I should ask them all if they have any of those. I think I will. I'll ask the management. Hey, do you have any of those laying around? That'd be kind of neat. How about you, Jason? Do you have any? That was Renee says they took the arcade and bumper cars out of the Pier 3 Fisherman's Wharf. Huh. Yeah, they're taking away everything. Stephanie says, I still have a few drive-in theaters in Ohio. Cool. Renee says 39. What's 39? Somebody must have asked you something about 30. 39. Okay, I'm not sure what that is, but I'm looking to Renee. I don't see what that's a reference to. Sorry. SBC says starting a video arcade is not a bad idea. You just need a room, and then the machines. I have some gum and toy vending machines. Yeah, I have thought about, like, there is an area over on one side of my store where I could, make that an additional part of the little store once I get the store part of it with the merchandise put in there. Tom says, I have an old Windows speaker I bought for next to nothing in an antique store. I have to see if it works someday. Oh, I wonder if it does. That shouldn't be too. Hey, you would think that would be too hard to hook that up. That'd be kind of cool. Lacecorn says, Stephanie, are you near Columbus? She says she's in Cincinnati. Tom says, I think it was your phone that made that noise, Brian. Oh, is that right? See, I didn't. Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow, I'm really far behind. Okay. Yeah, I was getting a text. Ava was texting me. Renee says, Brian, Golden Knights and Nuggets are champs. I saw 49ers and San Fran Giants are champs next. Oh, yeah? All right. Cool. Tom says, DC animated films are the best. I was trying to read what Renee said. Yeah, they are. I have seen a few of them, and I have enjoyed them. Victor says, here in town we have an arcade bar called Rubik's. We play pinball, air hockey, darts, and all kinds of video games. The pizza is delicious, and the beer is ice cold. Best weekend place ever. I think this is a neat topic because that's kind of what the whole chiller thing is a step back into yesteryear, to yesterfear, and enjoying the old movies, and there's a lot of nostalgia about that. People aren't watching The Last Man on Earth or the Giant Claw or the Ghoul, because they're looking for the newest and best effects or whatever. They're watching this stuff because they grew up watching these old chiller shows, whatever your horror host was when you're growing up, or just going to the movies and watching these old films. And that's kind of like that with the arcade games. Like, people like me care less about these new games, the gaming system, stuff like that. From what little I do, would play this stuff, I would play something like Space Invaders. Lisa Quinn says, is it just me or are the zombies missing in the background tonight? Are they? Well, that's because they're over there building a fort for some reason. I don't know what that's about. I haven't asked them. I'm just leaving them do their thing. I thought that was what the reference of the sound was earlier with the power tools. But Jason says, Flashpoint Paradox is what the new Flash movie is based on. And yes, Tom. Brad says, we have a drive-in theater in Erie County, Pennsylvania, and Waterford, PA. Opened in 1948 and continues to be one of the oldest family-run drive-ins in the United States of America. That's very cool. Very cool. It would have that old, just, I don't know, that there's something definitely very nostalgic about drive-ins. Let's see. Lisa Corn says, my beloved is from Erie, Brad. I love it there. Brutal in the winter, yes it is. But the summers there are awesome. Yes, I like Erie. Renee says, awesome live show, Brian Hogue. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Stephanie says, I think I saw all those movies. Very nice. Renee says, to Brian, all the Marvel movies are using the same boring, bland, and lame, blah, 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 acting and action. With DC have been great. I love both. Oh, okay. Yeah, Marvel was, wow. I mean, they need to fire some people. They really do. It's like Star Wars. How do you screw up Star Wars? You're handed the golden goose, and you screw up Star Wars because you're just trying to push agendas and narratives, and just make stupid space movies. Big dumb action, laser sword. Good against evil is what it ultimately comes down to, and just do that. And holy cow, what a and the same with Marvel. Marvel was, man, they were shooting for the stars there, and they took a tailspin, I'll tell you. Crazy. Richard says, I do know a person who works in the movie industry, and they feel Netflix and other channels like that are hurting the movie industry. I'm sure it has to be. I'm sure it has to be. Al says, I love the Giant Claw. Yeah, I love the facts behind that movie, the little tidbit facts that I go into as we're talking about it in between the breaks of the movie. Especially the puppet, the little marionette. The monster. Could you imagine being one of the actors who was in that movie? Like the main actor, I can't think of his name, but the main actor, it was just your normal chiller movie, your normal B science fiction movie. It wasn't nothing to write home about, but it wasn't horrible until they added the stock footage and the giant marionette puppet for the Giant Claw. And can you imagine going to the debut and watching that and seeing what it actually looked like all put together? Because they had no idea. They had no idea what this thing was going to look like. They were just like looking out the window of the plane, like reacting to something that they didn't have any idea what it was going to look like. And then to actually see that on the big screen. The guy, I talk about it during the movie, but yeah. The main actor, he left before the movie was over, went home and drank. Just started drinking. He was so depressed, so embarrassed. That's too bad. Brad says, how's the haunted house coming along? It is coming along fantastic. I am so happy with the progress. Renee says, Craven the Hunter has got a cheetah fur he always wears on his shoulder. I'll have to check that trailer out. Definitely, because I always thought that, you know, Craven Hunter was like an interesting villain of Spider-Man's because he didn't have any superpowers necessarily. I mean, I think in some versions he has some kind of, I don't know, he had drank some kind of potion that did give him animal like speed and strength or something like that. But for the most part, the early Craven Hunter, I don't think had any type of special superhuman powers. He was just a really good hunter, big game hunter. Turned villain. PBR Street Gang. This version of The Last Man on Earth is almost word for word to the book I Am Legend. Very good. Yeah, it's a neat idea. Neat idea. Really cool movie. I'll put the schedule up here in about 4 minutes. Stephanie says, Craven the Hunter trailer, 2 words, mind blown. All right, I got to check it out. I did see it, but it said official trailer, but I've seen so many of those, and they were fan-made, so it's like, but now that I know it really is out, that's cool. I'll give it a look-see. Tom says, I have a Meteor pinball machine that I acquired in the 80s. What a great game. Ah, cool. Cool. Richard says, remember how great Atari was when it came out? The Atari 2600. Yes, I do remember that one. Ah, I love that thing. Loved it. Renee says, that cheetah fur Craven wears. Hee hee hee, LOL. I hated that damn shell thingy. What? He wore every time he fought Wolverine. Face green smiling. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Stephanie says, I've seen The Walking Dead City on the 18th. A little heads up, Brian. It was so fracking awesome. Oh, cool. I'm excited about that series because I tell you, I'm more excited about that than we're almost at the end of it, but I'm more excited about that because it's got Negan, which I like that character. I did. I you know, it was hard to watch at first, but it was interesting to see his turn. You know, the heel to face turn. You know, if you're looking at it in a wrestling aspect. But and then Maggie, one of the original characters, of course. So that has got me interested in that because it kind of feels like it's returning to The Walking Dead. The last couple seasons of The Walking Dead, I watched it, Ava and I watched it because that was our thing. That was our Sunday night thing. But I didn't like it anymore. It was starting to just go downhill, you know, because they were adding too many sub-characters and trying to make them feel as important. And I never even learned their names. Could care less. But that's what it turned into. Renee says, the actor who played the second Punisher died. R.I.P. Yeah, he played in the Punisher War Journal. He played in, and he played in Thor as Volstagg. Yeah, that's something. And he's going to be on Ahsoka, the next Star Wars series. It's 8:58. I'm going to put up the schedule. I know I'm very, very far behind on the comments, and I'm sorry if I haven't got to your comments. But this is a good thing because the viewers watching this on Stream TV are, I'm sure they're going to be very entertained with the topics that you guys have brought up. I am, so I appreciate that. June 24th, this Saturday night. June 24th on Stream TV, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Chiller Night live pre-show. And then at 9 o'clock, the frightening fun begins. Or as Jack Shadow would say, the frightening fun begins. He would say it just like that if he were here. The movie is The Giant Claw. Then at 10:30 p.m., the movie is The Last Man on Earth. At 12:10, the movie is The Ghoul. And then at 1:45, the movie is House on Haunted Hill. What an incredible lineup for this Saturday night. I hope you get a chance to check it out. 8:59. Almost time to put a cap on this particular episode. Richard says, you do an amazing job, and I look forward to Saturday night. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. And we are at the end of this episode. So many that I didn't get to, but check back next Tuesday, and we'll do it all again. So everybody, thank you for joining me tonight and each other. Have a good night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next week.